So we're going to start today off by reacting to this video right here. You can see part of the thumbnail at least on the screen right now. It's called "The Classic WoW Community is Ruining Classic Plus. It's Time to Stop." That by itself is like a rage bait level insane, by the way, and I can't wait to see what he has to say. I have seen like 1 minute of this video beforehand, and I did tune into Ebonheart's stream like 15-20 minutes ago, where he was also watching this video, so I just left a couple of comments, and I kind of left because I want to see the video for myself. So let's check it out. I have not seen too much of this, because I kind of want to see it with you guys. So yeah, let's check it out. It's by Jordy, by the way. Jordy. Apparently, he's made some both retail and classic content in the past.
Hey guys. Lately, there's been an insane amount of talking about this mythical game mode that classic players have been wanting from Blizzard, being Classic Plus. Especially when Season of Discovery wrapped up shop after 8 phases, and Agron gave us that blue post confirming that development was essentially stopping. And unfortunately, a recent update about these Chinese exclusive servers, being the Titanforge servers that we knew about back in like July, I think, not only brought more conversation, but a lot of outcry and anger from parts of the classic community. So I'm making this video kind of like just to clear the air, I guess, from just my perspective on things and kind of just go over, and this is going to sound rude, just kind of go over how things just work, I guess, in regards to like AAA gaming companies, game development, and like business and just games and business in general. There's a lot of misunderstanding and misinformation being spread around, and it's been happening for a while. And, people have their rage towards Blizzard, whenever, just because it's normal to hate the company, right? But I wanted to organize my thoughts and sort of talk about this.
No, but it's normal to hate the company, sure. Also, Nixia buff is dropping, so that's kind of cool. I'm gonna log out before that sound absolutely ruins my head. But yeah, sure. It's normal to have like a little bit of rage every now and then, but Blizzard is among the most hated like companies among their own player base, I feel like. Sure, there are other player bases that have this same hatred to the company that is making their games, but Blizzard has to be like quite far up there when it comes to just how much of the community actively hates them and dislikes the decisions they're doing. I mean, a lot of people watching content don't even play on Blizzard's servers anymore. Sure, they play the same game, but they play on private servers. There's a reason why we have Turtle with like 44k people online at the same time. A private server. And we had Epoch with like way too many people online as well at launch. And now we have a third server spinning up. We have Warmane out there somewhere. There's hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions of people, on a daily basis playing private servers to avoid giving Blizzard money. And even content creators are so bored of what's happening that they're going to old school RuneScape and you can't even pay them to come back. I don't know, like maybe that signals that there's something, like, I just don't know, man. I get that I'm being negative, but it is what it is, right? You have the negative people, you have the positive people, then you have the people in between. And I'm just gonna say this, by the way, you're not gonna hear this from me often. But on a real note, I honestly don't care that Blizzard isn't saying much right now. Just like on a real note, I might sound negative and angry quite a lot, but like, I'm just saying, on a real level, I don't give a shit. It's okay. Number one, it gives me way more content than ever before, just talking about what's happening right now, and all the drama as well with people reacting in certain ways. It just gives you way too many things to talk about. But also, I'm gonna play retail. I'm gonna play Legion Remix. I'm probably getting into the Midnight Alpha. There's a Palworld update coming sometime next year. To me, I'm going to play a lot of different games. We have TBC coming out. I'm making TBC content. I'm playing Anniversary right now. To me, it's a good time. I'm just gonna say that, like on a real note, I just take their time. I don't care. Would I like to have more communication? Absolutely. But it's not gonna change my life if we get it or not. It's fine.
Because in my last video, I kind of just rambled for 20 minutes. So this time it's more of an actual
Hey, that's what I do all the time. Hell yeah, dude.
Organized thought process to hopefully help calm things down, because I feel like we're doing more harm than good by this outcry that we're creating. But the harsh reality is no.
I actually don't think we're doing more harm than good, to be fair, because the only times Blizzard right now is reacting and saying anything is when there is outcry. That is the only, like, they've shown this time and time again, by the way, that that's the only time they are willing to do anything, is when you actively talk about things. For example, going back to 2020, there was a lot of bots in the game. A lot of bots in the game. And you know what? Blizzard hadn't. This went on for between 2019 and 2020. There was a lot of botting going on in Classic. And you can go back, by the way, and you will not see Blizzard talk about it ever. They shut up so much and never talked about it until, and I was part of this, a bunch of content creators banded together and made a botting video in the same week. I made a video, Stay Safe made a video, Asmongold made a video, Will E made a video, Metagoblin made a video, a bunch of other people made videos as well, and we even got 3 news website articles to make articles about botting, all in the same week. And do you know what happened the next week? Blizzard put out a blue post. We are now banning bots, and we're going to be public about the bot banning. Because of the feedback, like, we pushed them to do that. If it wasn't for, I'm not trying to take any stuff here, but the public outcry, the Reddit post, the content creators, the websites, everybody talking about how bad this was in the game, led to Blizzard for the first time ever in Classic WoW's history for over half a year, talking about how bad botting was. Which was an act that literally only happened due to the feedback they got and the pushback from the community and from various online sources. And even just going back to less than 3 months ago, there was somebody on Anniversary who had been using exploits and fly hacking to get Black Lotuses. He did this for 2 months straight. And one person tried to ban him, he reported him every single day for 2 months, nothing happened. And then he made a Reddit post that happened to get 2,000 upvotes. And do you know what happened 2 days later? The exploiter got banned. 2 months of daily reports, nothing happened. 2 days of online publicity, banned straight away. I'm just saying, at some point they need public... they need things to be public in order to do anything.
Classic Plus is not happening for some time now, or whatever this next project is following SOD. It's not happening for some time now, and that's normal, and it's okay. Now, before I go...
Then why haven't we heard anything about Classic Plus yet? I mean, even there as well, by the way. Last week, they made a tweet. And, I mean, do you think they would have made that tweet if my video hadn't blown up to the portion it did? My video has about 20,000 views, or 14,000, but I made 3 videos on the topic. One has 13k, one has 8k, and one has 5k. That is a combined of 27k views, and a bunch of shorts as well on the topic, and that is just me. Then you have Hammerdance as well talking about it too. And we are small content creators, keep in mind, back in 2019 and 2020, we had Asmongold making a video, Stay Safe made a video, a bunch of Willy as well, he had over 100k subs back then, he made a video, Metagoblin as well was huge back then, still is by the way, and they also made videos. Now, we're a lot smaller. A lot of the big guys have left right now. They're playing old school RuneScape. Asmongold doesn't even play WoW. Stay Safe is now called Matt Morse and does politics. A lot of these people have left. And the ones that are here are now playing RuneScape, and you can't even pay them to come back. The, me pushing doesn't really do much, and if anything, I might have helped to get the tweet that we got for them to clarify the situation, due to the public, once again, outrage of people reacting to it. We never even would have had that tweet only happened because of the Titanfall server outcry, still nothing about C+. Yeah, but I mean, that's the only tweet or thing we've gotten about anything C++ related in half a year. We got the blue post, which they referred to in the tweet, and that tweet only happened due to the outcry, and the outcry, I helped the outcry. Even if I didn't spark it, didn't create it, I feel like I definitely helped push the outcry by talking the way I did about it, because that timing, that time sucked. And I was going somewhere with this, but like the only way we're gonna get anything about C plus is continuously ask for it. Otherwise, we are not going to hear anything until 2 months before BlizzCon next year. That is the only time we're going to hear anything, because then they're going to start building up the hype for BlizzCon. So like 2 or 3 months before BlizzCon, they're going to slowly start dropping a little bit of hints here and there to give you like a little bit of hype before the announcement. And I don't want to wait that long. But then again, as I just said, I don't really care if I do have to wait that long, but I would prefer not to, especially for the communication aspect.
Go on. The fact that I feel like I even have to say this is pretty funny.
Also, where did he get those swords in the background, by the way? I need some clarifications, because I want one of those.
But no, I'm not getting paid by Blizzard to shill
Yes, you are.
for them, I guess. I'm not trying to be a good Boy Scout for Blizzard. Guys, I barely post videos anymore. It's been like 3 weeks since my last video, and I stream like twice on Twitch. So I'm not trying to like be a good boy or whatever. This is my honest opinion about everything I've been seeing regarding all this Classic Plus nonsense. Now, I've watched a lot of creators like Hammer Dance, Ebonheart, Tello, Kago, Solheim, Alando, etc. And first, let me say that I have great respect for all of them, and I'm not trying to talk mess or cause any drama with any of the creators I mentioned or any creators in general. I think
Oh, cue the drama, dude. Hell yeah, let's go.
creator drama is pretty stupid. I understand where a lot of them are coming with Classic, Classic Plus, and just, more recently, these Chinese exclusive servers and whatnot. But unfortunately, like I said earlier, I feel like it does more harm than good for the overall Classic community with what some of them have been saying. Let's first talk about the latter because they're fresh in our minds, right? The Titan Forge servers, the China exclusive servers. So these are Wrath servers with a boosted 1 through 80 leveling experience, where vanilla and TBC raids are also scaled to level 80 and everything is a 25-man raid. There's more to it, but that's just the gist of it. People have been calling these servers a version of Classic Plus, and there's outrage that they're China exclusive and Americans, Europeans aren't getting them. The recent outcry and anger was because of an interview with Claystone and Ian Hazacostas. Ian, you know him as Ian, where Ian mentioned, along with Mr. Pandaria, these new servers would be the Classic team's main focus. And people took that as, well, I guess no Classic Plus for America. That's all they're going to focus on. We're not getting anything.
I'm not trying to start a drama. That's how you start a drama, my guy. Yeah, but it gives him like plausible deniability for having started the drama, right? Because then if the drama starts, you can always go back and be like, here, I said I was not trying to start drama. And then he can shift the blame on you. I'm not saying that's what he's doing, by the way, but it's like you go to someone and you're like, no offense, but you're ugly as fuck. And then if they get offended, you can just refer back to no offense meant. Just no offense. And then you offend them. But then there's no offense.
And then, to be fair, Wowhead, which, if you don't know, I write guides and news articles for, published an article about this interview. And unfortunately and unintentionally, we caused some anger because we quoted that quote that Ian said, I said earlier, but didn't include the along with mob part. So it just read like, these new servers will be Blizzard's main focus for the next year. So people, again, got mad. Now, devs had reached out to us at Wowhead, and we changed the title of the article because, again, it was not the intention to rage bait. I promise y'all it wasn't. But even if, we didn't post that article, the way people took it would have stayed the same. Now, if you're upset that you aren't getting access to these servers, you have every right to be, and there's merit behind what you're saying because you want to play this new game mode. It sounds cool, right? But I just want to go over why it is the way it is. And some of y'all might know why, and you just might not care, which is fine too. But just in case you didn't know, a few years back, NetEase and Blizzard had a fallout. And because of that, China lost access to WoW for a solid amount of time. And during that time, they lost out on Wrath of the Lich King and all of Season of Discovery. And if I was a Chinese WoW player, man, I'd be really upset because those are like my two favorite versions of WoW of all time. But with their partnership back, one, Blizzard gave China a new, fresh Wrath progression server, and now they're also getting these Titan Forge servers as like a gift. It's exclusive to them to build that relationship again, some reconciliation for what happened in the past. It's not meant to be this F you America, we hate you, we hate our American customers, we love China, China number one belief that I've unfortunately seen around the internet. It's just meant to be like a business deal. And again, you have a right to be annoyed and frustrated that you're not getting this, especially if you're not a fan of the current classic services offered by Blizzard. But I think it's an over exaggeration on being upset by this. It's a huge overreaction because I think it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't type situation because this is not, at least from what I've been told by people, not a Classic Plus that they're gonna enjoy. I'm not trying to make it a you think you do, but you don't type situation, but this isn't a classic vanilla setting. It's a Wrath setting.
I mean, here's the thing though, most of us understand that, at least I do, and I think most of my audience does as well. We understand this is not exactly what we want to play, or like long term at least, but it's something we can have fun with until BlizzCon comes out next year. That's what I'm thinking here. And also, I think it is a huge fuck you to Europe and North America, and a huge China number one at like type of thing. I personally think so. Like it, sure, they missed out. Blah blah. Give them something exclusive. Why does it have to be exclusive? Why? Like, sure, we got Season of Discovery. At that point, they simply weren't partnered with Blizzard. In which case, like, give them Season of Discovery now then. If the main argument was that they didn't play Season of Discovery, which they did, by the way, they just played on North America or Europe servers, and I'm not going to say anything, but it's easier for them to understand English than it is for us to understand their language, I would say. But also, I was going somewhere with this. We can't even play these servers, by the way, if we wanted to. There are so many loops you have to jump through, including account sharing, which is against terms of service, so we can't even do it. It's impossible to play these servers even if you want to for us. Meanwhile, they could just migrate to EU servers or North American servers and play there. But also, why not give them Season of Discovery then? If they missed out on Season of Discovery, and that was the big thing they wanted to play, why not relaunch that for them? And either give them access to the full game, or launch it as the phases it was given to us in EU and North America, and let them have fun with it. If the main argument was that they never got to play Season of Discovery, well, fucking let them. Because we have the game made. Instead of giving that exclusively to us, and this new thing exclusively to them, give both. It's a win-win situation if they get Season of Discovery later or now, and we all get Wrath plus Titanforged. That way, both gets both. Why do you have to give EU and North America one thing and China another thing, when you can literally give both? Am I stupid here? Am I the only one who's like literally not understanding this? I don't get it. I really don't. I don't get it, personally.
It's not a slow progression leveling journey. It's boosted. You're supposed to get to 80 as fast as possible. There are in-game shop rewards. So you can bet you'll see the WoW token on there. You'll see a bunch of like transmog stuff, pets, whatever on the shop in this version of the game. To me, it sounds like an arcade style, like boss rush type game versus like a classic progression server, almost like a Wrath remix with vanilla and TBC raids versus a
Yeah, but this is something that a lot of Classic players right now would enjoy a lot, because what do you do in Classic right now? You do everything in your power to skip the leveling content, you do everything in your power to skip the open world, and you raid log. 95.67% of your time, especially to like a lot of people, is spent in dungeons and raids, which can be classified as a boss rush, which is what that game mode is. A lot of Classic players right now, they either buy a mage boost to max level, or they power through the leveling journey as fast as they can, because they hate leveling, and then they buy gold at max level to avoid going out and farming. All they want to do is dungeons and raids, aka boss rush.
classic game. I can guarantee that the people who would play this, who want Classic Plus, would play it and think to themselves, or not to themselves, they would post on forums and whatnot, what is this BS? This isn't Classic. Why are y'all wasting your dev time on this? I want the real Classic Plus.
But they're already wasting their dev time on it, so like the dev time is already being wasted. In this case, it's literally just giving the community something new to play while waiting for the real deal.
So again, it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't type situation. Now let's move on to Classic Plus. Now, just in case you don't know what Classic Plus is, don't worry. Nobody really does. Everybody has their own vision of what they want it to be. But it's essentially a reimagined vanilla setting of Azeroth with new quests, dungeons, new abilities, spells, zones, etc. But what continues to blow my mind is the idea that this game mode, which is a big undertaking, should just already be out. The drama behind this has only been enhanced after Microsoft has been suing Turtle WoW and other private servers. And I'll talk about Turtle WoW in a second, but I want to focus on this misinformed outcry about Blizzard's game development, especially with this next big project that we're assuming is Classic Plus. Look, I get it. If you don't like Anniversary, if you don't like Mist of Pandaria, I get it. Anniversary has a lot of issues, and so does Mist of Pandaria. Personally, I'm enjoying both to a certain extent, especially Mist of Pandaria, surprisingly. I didn't think I'd like it as much as I do. But I know there's a healthy amount of people in the Classic community who just don't enjoy either. And if you don't have a version of Classic from Blizzard that you can enjoy, which for a lot of us WoW addicts, which we all are, sucks. Especially if you're a content creator. It really feels like the hype that Classic had from its launch back in 2019 has finally died, and it died when Season of Discovery wrapped up shop. And players, especially creators, want that hype back. And I get it as someone who was a creator. I don't want to say I'm not a creator anymore, but I mean, last video I posted was 3 weeks ago.
But it's also like, it requires so little from Blizzard's part to keep that hype going. Because I get it, they want to keep the main announcement for a Classic Plus until BlizzCon. We're not expecting the announcement right now. We're not even expecting a release date or full confirmations on what's happening. But what about keeping us involved in the process? Just like a little bit of communication. I don't know, like, dude, I once again, I don't get it. Like, I think we just have two wholly different viewing points on everything. Me and this Jordy guy, and I think that's fine, by the way. He is very optimistic. I think I'm trying to be realistic instead of optimistic, because the thing about me is that I really don't think, by the way. I think, I'm just gonna say it, I'm gonna have fun playing it anyway, but I don't think Blizzard can make a good Classic Plus. I really don't. We saw Nightmare Incursions in Season of Discovery, we saw Phase 3 and how overtuned the raid was, we saw how bad the loot was. Like, Phase 3 was such a mistake. And also, the retail team has done the same thing in BFA, for example, and all of this could have been avoided by either the developers playing their own game and identifying mistakes, or asking for feedback as they implement them. If they had been public about Nightmare Incursions from the start, and just let anyone beta test it, or even just be like, is this a good idea? People would tell them, fuck no, this sucks. So like, a little bit of input from the community, and talking about your ideology with the community would be great. Talk about Classic Plus. It could like help with the hype so much. Have a monthly fireside chat where Agron sits down with like anybody from the Classic WoW dev team, and they speak for 10-15 minutes about what they're doing right now in Classic Plus. It would just be a 10-15 minute catch up to like, hey guys, this is what we are doing this month, or this is what we have done, and what we are doing next month. And just do that on a month-by-month basis. It would slowly build the hype and keep the hype alive, and let a bunch of content creators theorycraft on what like the game would be based on the information we are getting, and it would still not take away any of the hype from the potential trailer at a BlizzCon next year. They would just once again keep the flame alive, and maybe build the flame even more, by allowing content creators to talk about it in a positive manner. Right now, like, everything he's saying, by the way, makes logical sense, but player perception is way more important than logical sense. I think the recent tweet kind of demonstrates this, because people are mad, and the tweet by Blizzard that was supposed to be damage control about the whole China thing It basically said this: I know you're mad, but fuck you, stay mad. I'm not gonna tell you anything, so just be mad. That is what the tweet basically said to me. The tweet was so bad, by the way. I personally feel like it was trash. Because, once again, it did not realize what the main problem was, which is player perception and our feelings. And in this case, the tweet basically said, your feelings don't matter. Of course they do. You can speak logical sense all you want, but feelings and player perception matters a whole fucking lot.
And I stream like twice on Twitch and YouTube now. There's just not much to talk about in the game, so I don't force myself to make videos. And like I mentioned earlier, I'm focusing more on my career to make sure that I'm not losing track like I did last year. So I just don't make content the same way I used to. But for those who want to do this, like aspiring WoW creators, people who really want to grow, it's a really bad time right now. Probably the worst it's ever been for classic WoW creators.
This is going to be highly controversial, by the way, but I am a content creator, and I'm going to say it. I hard disagree. Hard disagree. I think right now is one of the best times to make content, because you have two very separate type of people right now making content, and you also have two very separate type of people watching content as well. You either have people that are really hopeful about Classic Plus, or you have people that really hate Blizzard. So if you hard focus on any of those two types of content right now, you can build a massive following, and you can get the easiest views of all time. Just either shit-talking Blizzard, or hyping up Classic Plus. Also, a lot of content creators have left the space right now. Ebonheart is covering retail and uploading way less frequently. I'm going to start covering more retail stuff as well with Midnight and Legion Remix. There's a lot of holes in the market to fill right now, so anybody filling those holes, they can grow like crazy. But also, once again, there's a lot of videos you can make right now that you previously couldn't. You can theory craft about Classic Plus, talk about the bad communication by Blizzard, which gives you endless videos, by the way, just formulate them differently every single time, and make videos like you're making here. The Classic WoW community is ruining Classic Plus. If this thing wasn't happening right now, this video would not exist, and I would not react to it. And same with Ebonheart today on stream, would also not react to it. Everybody right now, like, here's the thing. People make a video like this, I react to it, Hammerdance reacts to it, Ebonheart reacts to it, all the classic WoW content creators react to it. If it becomes big enough, Sarju reacts to it, like, you get the point? There's not that much content in the space right now, so you make anything somewhat decent, and everybody is going to see it. Even Sarju and Gusu will see it as well, and then boom, that's like the two reactions you need, and your channel takes off. I think right now is a good time to be a classic content creator when you think about it that way. But nobody wants to think about it that way, but I'm saying it as a content creator. I think right now is a good time to make classic WoW content. It's not what you want to hear, but also, I'm just gonna say it, like, when every other content creator thinks it's a bad time and they upload less content, you have less competition in the market. Sometimes a bad time can be a good time, because everyone thinks it's a bad time. It's kind of like in retail WoW. Engineering was always supposed to be the worst gold making profession, so I picked it up and made 25 million gold in 2 months, which is more than I've made with any other profession, by the way, and not even hard focusing on it. So basically, because nobody thought it was good, it became good because nobody used it. I'm just saying. The same principle can be used here as well.
And I feel for you, I do. But I've just seen just some really silly and bad faith conversations that aren't productive or just factual in general. And like I mentioned at the start, it's going to do more harm.
Of course they're not factual. We have no facts. That is the whole problem here. Blizzard does not communicate or give us anything to work off of. That is why there's so much theory crafting going on right now, and so many theories spinning around, because we have no facts. If we had facts, we would talk about them based on those facts, right? The one fact we have right now is that they're cooking on something in the proverbial kitchen, and there's been a couple of notes or blue posts about a future version of Classic that will be experienced by both China and the West at the same time. That was in the blue post that Blizzard quoted in the tweet. That being said, a future version of Classic could literally, in the term Classic, mean Warlords of Draenor Classic. Until they clarify what it means, that is what it could literally mean that. So once again, we just don't know. We know nothing.
Than good, especially if you really keep trying to push Blizzard to release this product sooner than later. But I also want to clarify.
Nobody's pushing them to release it though. We just want to be we want communication, man. I stop with this video way too much because I'm quite passionate about the topic, and I already said, by the way, that I don't care when it comes out, really. As long as it comes out sometimes in 2027, I'm happy. But I would like for myself, and mostly for the community, some communication. Then that's all I'm asking for, communication. Is that so hard?
This too. Just because maybe you don't like the current classic games offered doesn't mean that there aren't people who do. Like I said, I really like Mists of Pandaria. And I kind of like Anniversary right now. There's a lot I don't like about it, but the actual gameplay of it, I am a big fan of. But it's fine to not enjoy it, but it doesn't mean that those of us who do are villains or are in the wrong for doing so. You know, I've heard the phrase speak with your wallet, right? And yeah, I'm still subbed because I enjoy what I'm playing. And if you don't, you know, then don't waste your money on this, right? If you're not playing, cancel your sub for a bit. But here's the thing. You can't expect a game company to just shit out a game in 3 months and expect it to be good, especially when they're managing other active games as well.
This is, I'm gonna comment before I see what he's saying here, because he just said 3 months. Number one, the last phase of Season of Discovery came out in April, so unless this video was made in like, what, May, June, July, so July, that 3-month aspect is already wrong. It's 5 months now, like, it's 5 months, almost 6. But also, I'm just gonna say it, and this is going to be, like, I've said it before, I'll say it again. They should have started working on Classic Plus when they abandoned Wrath, like at the end of Wrath of the Lich King, because going down Cataclysm, you know it's going to be tragic, and they already saw the player numbers drop like crazy, and then at least Mist of Pandaria, they also see it. But even if we look away from Wrath, Cata, and Mist of Pandaria, Season of Discovery Phase 1, and possibly Phase 2, but at least Phase 1, the massive success of that phase should be the green light to start working on Classic Plus. So Blizzard should already, in Phase 1 of Season of Discovery, start working on Classic Plus if they haven't yet. Literally, Phase 1, that's the green light. That is like, you're testing the ground, you're testing the waters, seeing if there's any fish biting, and all the fish is biting. At that point, you literally start making it. You hire a bunch of people, you start working on that while working on Phase 2, and maybe while working on Phase 3 as well, and every single phase. Just start working on it. There's no reason why they have to focus on one thing at a time. Even in a Preach video recently, he talked to Ian about how their team is structured. In retail, they have one team working on 11.0, one on 11.2, 11.1, 11.5, 7. They have like different people at different stations, working on different patches. So they're working on multiple things at the same time, all the time. Classic should be structured similarly. They should not have started working on Classic Plus when ending Season of Discovery. Classic Plus should be at least 1, possibly 2 years in development by now. And if it's not, massive L. Huge L.
Now, I'm going to reference Hammer Dance, and I'm not trying to talk mess about him because I referenced him, I think, in my last video or a previous video too. And again, it's just a happy coincidence because I think he's an awesome creator. I think he's a really cool guy too. But something he recommended, I watched one of his videos, would just, again, do more harm than good. And he said something along the lines of, give us just whatever you can, like give us a unfinished version of Classic Plus and then just slowly develop it over time. And if this next big project is Classic Plus, I can guarantee you whatever they have now isn't even in an alpha setting. There's no way any portion of this game was being developed while they were actively working on SOD.
Okay, if that's the case, then I'm just gonna say it. Blizzard or Classic WoW dev team, worst dev team. If you did not work on Classic Plus while working on SOD, that's a trash move. Honestly, garbage. If what he just said right now is true, that's hot garbage. If they literally had to end the Season of Discovery to start working on Classic Plus, huge L. And I hope they fail.
Ideas were probably barely hitting a whiteboard when they finished up phase 8. And look, guys, we've seen what a rushed Blizzard product looks like. I mean, half of Cataclysm was rough. Phase 3 of Sod, rough. Killed like half the player base. Phase 4 was okay, but phase 5, 6, rough, especially phase 6. We remember the AQ phase, right? Oh my God. There's just too much on the line for them to release something this soon. So again, it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't type situation now. And then this one, this one thing annoys me too. And I've heard this from a lot of people. It's like, why do they even give us MOP and Anniversary to begin with? They should have just given us Classic Plus immediately after. And I'm sorry, that's just like dumb. Here's what would have happened if they didn't give us MOP or Anniversary at all. You wouldn't have any version of Classic from Blizzard right now. There'd be nothing. And their next big project would still be released around the same time. Only difference is, again, there's nothing to play from Blizzard's Classic services. They don't have MOP or Anniversary. Well, they could have kept working on Season of Discovery then and given us that. I would have taken that instead of this crap. Okay, then their Classic Plus game or whatever their project is would come out even later because they have to actively develop and make new content for this game. There's a reason why we got MOP in Anniversary. The games were already made. There's a reason why TBC was announced during the Warcraft Direct along with Anniversary. There's a reason why we haven't heard about WoD at all yet. There's a reason why they didn't talk about Wrath yet either. This is just filler content to give them time to make their game and still offer some versions of Classic. There's a reason why it's not just only MOP. They gave us Anniversary, and I hated when they gave us Anniversary because it was during Sod's AQ phase, and I didn't want to split the population base even more. But now I understand why, because they wanted a version for different audiences. They knew people who liked Sod wouldn't all like MOP, and they knew people wouldn't all like Anniversary. So we have these two game modes that are pretty different from each other to keep some of the players who are playing Sod active. So having these two games is just way less dev work than an active developing game that they have to create new content for, but it's still classic games that people can play while they work on their big project. And then it also goes...
Before he goes, is he going to talk about this again? I think he is, but before he keeps talking about that, so far in the video, I think this is the one thing I agree with him on. I think we just look at things very differently, but so far, this one right here, I massively agree with. I will say, I think maybe I just have a based community and also based viewers, because I've never seen that comment. I've never seen anybody ask, why do we have Mist of Pandaria, and why did we get Anniversary? I've actually, I've never seen that comment. Either I'm blind, or nobody's commenting that, because I've never seen it personally. And I'm really happy that I don't, because I like, when we go down to Cataclysm, we're obviously doing Pandaria. Pandaria is just objectively better than Cataclysm to a lot of people, and I mean, objectively it is better. But yeah, it's better than Cataclysm. Cataclysm sucked, and Pandaria sucks a little bit less. And then Anniversary, people were literally asking for. Also, OnlyFans. The actual popularity was insane, and still is, by the way, but OnlyFans pushed it like crazy. Anniversary, people were asking for, and even begging for. So this one, like what he's saying here, I fully agree with. Everything else I've been like disagreeing with quite a lot, but the thing is, nothing he's saying is wrong, by the way, and nothing he's saying does not make sense. It is just that we look at things differently. I'm a little bit more reserved, I would say, and he is way more positive vibes only. To me, it's like, I'm positive vibes until I have no reason to be positive vibes. Which Blizzard right now is giving me no reason to be positive at all. They're trying to they're telling us to let them cook. Meanwhile, every time we have let them cook, they fuck it up big time. And the only times it's really good is when they ask for community feedback and literally listen to the feedback. So,
with this other argument I keep hearing, like when you compare the private server devs to like the Blizzard devs, like the private servers are giving you what you really want. They really care about you, while Blizzard just makes a cheap buck giving you these free releases. They don't have to do any work. And it's like, guys, oh my God, they're just filler games. How do we...
Okay, I'm gonna say it though. Okay, so what he said right now, please let that sink in. What he said right now is that we are only playing filler games. Anniversary is a filler game. Mist of Pandaria is a filler game. So in Classic right now, we only have fillers. Does anybody else than me realize how bad that sounds? If we are playing filler games, and Blizzard has not even announced their main game yet, we don't know that it even exists, we don't know that they're working on it, even though we kind of do at the same time, they've never really fully said it. They really haven't. They've been extremely vague about it, sure. But we have no idea what they're working on, how they're working on it, when it's coming out, what philosophy they have. Is incursions going to be there? Botting, mage boosting? Is it going to be faster leveling, slower leveling, more zones, higher levels? Like, we have no idea about what the main game is. I think, like, filler games are okay. As long as it's filler games. If filler games is the only game you have, and you don't know what the main game is or when it's coming out, is it really a filler game at that point? I don't think you can't only have fillers, can you? To me, that sounds stupid, by the way. I understand that they are filler games, but if they are filler games, they need to be more vocal about what the main game is, and what they are developing, how they're developing it, some timelines, and just fucking communicate. That's all people are asking for right now, communication. It's not that hard, man.
Not like comprehend that? How does that not instantly click in our heads? It just makes so much sense, right? And I've tried saying this in like 3 other videos why this is happening, but people just don't seem to understand it. Like, let's think, please. I know I'm sounding really condescending and kind of mean. I apologize. It's just really annoying. And we
Yeah, no, but in this case, though, I will say you do sound condescending, and it is annoying to us as well that you're saying this, or at least to me, because, like you just said, they are just filler games. But we don't know what is coming out. Like, what are we using these filler games for? They, once again, haven't fully confirmed the Classic Plus yet. We don't know what it's going to look like at all. They're not communicating anything. They're going dark and let us cook. After making fucking Phase 3, Incursions, Sunken Temple, and like you said in your own video here, Phase 5 and Phase 6, they've made so many mistakes, and all they have to say is let us cook. Without any feedback. We don't want to tell you shit. Let us cook. We're so good. Like, we're gonna make the perfect Classic Plus. Just let us cook. I mean, here's the thing. He is very positively minded. I'm a little bit more reserved. But it's all about trying to put yourself into the perspective of the other person. Because what he's saying makes logical sense. And what I'm saying, or at least what I'm trying to echo here, is the player perception in my own comments that I'm seeing from people in my community. And once again, you can't just ignore people's feelings and the way they perceive things by trying to be logical. You can, but it's usually not going to end well. If you see someone who's sad, and you tell them, like, why are you sad? Stop being sad. Being sad is fucking pathetic. Stop being sad. It usually doesn't help. And if you try to, like, be logical about why being sad is not so good for you, it usually doesn't help either. Ignoring people's feelings usually doesn't do anything. You can be as logical as you want, but you have to realize that player perception and player feelings are important as well.
Weren't complaining about getting re-released content from 2019 through 2022, right? I know we're kind of annoyed because Kata and Mop, they aren't classic. I get that. They're just re-releases at this point. I agree with you on that. But I'm going to say this one more time. It's just filler content to give us something to play while they work on a new thing for us to play. And here's the next thing I want to talk about. What people are putting on Blizzard, we don't ever expect from any other gaming company. So I'm just really confused why they get this treatment versus others. And I'll use a different company in game as an example. I love Elden Ring. It's like my favorite game of all time. I've beaten it 6 times. I have like over 400 hours on the original Elden Ring. And because I'd only played Dark Souls 3 before that, I got to satisfy my Soulsborne cravings with Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, Demon Souls, etc. But I wanted more Elden Ring. And if you did too, we eventually got it. 2 years later with the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC. That was 2 years after Elden Ring launched. People weren't crying and pissing themselves 4 months after Elden Ring came out because there was no new content. We knew there would be time between a Elden Ring 2 or whatever we would get after the game came out. So why are we giving Blizzard this unrealistic expectation that they need to have this Classic Plus game out now when SOD ended like 4 months ago? That's not how normal game development time.
Kind of like what you just said right now, because Classic WoW, like you say SOD ended 4 months ago. It's been 5 at this point, right? Yeah, it's been 5 if it came out in April. It came out really early April as well, and they haven't been developing anything since April, so it's been 5. Not 4, but 5. But also, a season is not a main game. If you're going to say Classic Plus is the continuation of Classic. Classic came out 2019, so people waiting for Classic Plus has been waiting for 6 years now. Season of Discovery, to those people, is also filler content, and it's filler content because of the word in the name being Season of Discovery. Season. By even just including the word season, to me that makes it filler content by default. If you call something a season, and you say it's lasting for 1.5 years, that by itself is also filler content. So Classic Plus is not like the follow-up to Season of Discovery. It's the follow-up to Classic, 2019. It's been 6 years, so going back to the example he gave, you had to wait 2 years. We've waited for 6 years. And also, another reason why we're holding Blizzard to the standard we're holding them to now is that we are comparing them to companies like Intrepid Studios, that is making Ashes of Creation, another kind of hyped. Where on the fence you sit on the hype, by the way, could be, I don't care, but it's a bigger game that might come out at some point in the future, nobody has no idea, but even then, they are doing monthly, sometimes weekly developer interviews on Fridays, talking about what they have done. So we're holding Blizzard to that standard of another game in the same industry, in the same genre, that is a much smaller company than Blizzard. Where the main guy, by the way, not even just a developer, the main head is in those interviews talking about what they have done in the game itself. They are doing that, and they're hosting like it's a full 1 to 2 hour episodes. We're asking Blizzard for 15 minutes. So we're not even holding them to the same standard as a smaller company in the same niche. We're holding them to a smaller standard than that as well.
Works. Now, I've mentioned this in my last video and on streams and whatever, but Blizzard loves to work in these 18-month cadences. They have been for like almost all 20 years of their existence. And we also saw that not only expansion to expansion, but also from Season of Mastery to Season of Discovery. Phase 6, the next phase of SOM to SOD's launch was like 18 months almost. So you'd have to expect when SOD stopped getting development that it's going to take the exact amount of time, or more or less that same ballpark of that time, for the next seasonal server or Classic Plus or whatever Classic project is they're making. That's just how normal game development works. Especially if y'all want it to be this grand, reimagined Classic Plus, like this true Classic Plus, it's gonna take some time, and it's just normal. And again, it's just that conversation, like Turtle WoW has been doing this for years. How long did it take them to do it when they first did it? And I know they were just like a vanilla server at first, right? But it's been like 8 years since they've been around. That's a long time for all the content that's in the game. 18 months is pretty reasonable from a gaming company to make a game that we all really want. There's a lot.
And nobody is saying that it isn't. What we are saying is that they should have started working on it way before closing Season of Discovery. Like, once again, he is making logical sense, but he's ignoring what people are saying. Because when we are saying that they should have been doing a lot of work on Classic Plus already, we're not saying like, oh, you started working in May, so you should be done by now. What we are saying is something that I've already said in my reaction to this video. Season of Discovery Phase 1. If you're looking for a proof of work, which people are doing in business, you usually have an idea, then you have a concept, you have concept, idea, and proof of work. Or even just like proof of that it's going to work at some point. Or seeing that the interest is there, proof of interest, proof of work. And you just want to see it actually, like, yeah, do well. Season of Discovery Phase 1, how much that blew up compared to Season of Mastery, should be the green light to actually make this project and start working on it. They should have, at latest, like, sure, Phase 1, maybe they want to keep working to make Phase 2 great. After Phase 2, like, or between Phase 1 and Phase 2, they should expand their team and start working on Classic Plus. At latest, Classic Plus development should have started when Phase 2 came out. at latest. Anything past that is fucking retarded.
Lot of pressure to make this game right. Now, I'm not saying Blizzard doesn't deserve their fair share of criticism. They deserve a lot. And like I mentioned earlier, both Anniversary and MOP have their issues. Let's not forget all the scandals and legal stuff they went through years back, right? But going back to their current games, Anniversary and MOP have problems. Anniversary's economy is awful. It is so casual, unfriendly, and very RMT friendly. In my opinion, banning GDKPs didn't help. I wish they'd come back for TBC. And Mists of Pandaria at launch had a lot of bugs. The initial starting quest for the gunship, which was one of my favorite, most nostalgic parts about playing MOP, is still disabled. Why? 10-man raids need major tuning adjustments. It's so unforgiving versus a 25-man raid. And I feel like they really dropped the ball on hyping up their PvP. They really could have brought in a lot of content creators who are big PvPers like Peekaboo, Sidu, Zaryu, a lot of these creators who like to PvP and hype up the game, because we all know that
The problem is, they tried to do that, by the way. They did. They tried to offer people like $5,000 to come and play Mist of Pandaria. And do you know what people said? They said no. So that should probably give you an idea about the current state when they're trying to pay streamers $5,000 to play a game where they probably get more viewers as well, because they are WoW streamers at the end of the day, or they started that way. So they're paying them $5,000 to make more money from streaming, and they say no. That should probably tell you a little bit about the current state, I think. Maybe, just maybe. I don't know.
MOB kind of needed that population boost. So I feel like that was a really big missed opportunity to like hype up your game. But that type of criticism,
Fun fact, the same bugs that were there on Mist of Pandaria Classic launch was their original mop, and they are all being fixed in the same order. I know, I've made a couple of videos about this, and I'm just gonna keep saying it as well, because that's funny to me. They're copy-pasting the same Mist of Pandaria launch that we had back in the day, with the exact same bug fixes. So for example, if a bug was fixed 22 days after Mist of Pandaria came out the first time, it is also being fixed 22 days after Mist of Pandaria Classic came out. They're literally copy and pasting what they did back then this time. It's all like scheduled or AI made. It's insane, dude.
actually gets you somewhere. It has merit. It can lead to change. Just saying Blizzard hates you and they hate Classic and they don't give a shit about you doesn't do anything but score you like free internet points. It would be really easy for me to sit here and just talk a bunch of mess about Blizzard and say they hate you and all this nonsense, but it's just that. It's just nonsense. And also, there's this conversation that devs can't give us good content. Like, oh, it's going to suck anyways because the people who are in charge anyway. And I'm like, that's a bit of a stretch too. Like, looking at
No, even in your own video, this is not a stretch. You already said Phase 3 was bad, Nightmare Incursions was bad, the Sunken Temple raid was badly overtuned and also gave loot that was trash, and you also said that Phase 4 you said was good, but Phase 5 and Phase 6 was kinda bad. So even in your own video here, you literally said that out of the 8 phases we had in Season of Discovery, 3 of them were just bad. And like really bad. That is about 40% of the season, by the way, being bad. And do you know what could have made that better? Player feedback. Or, as I like to call it, communication. And what are people asking for right now, before Classic Plus? Communication. Communication. Nobody's asking for a faster release, by the way. We're asking for communication. What they are developing, why they are developing it, some stuff, and maybe ask us for feedback. We're asking for communication, which could have fixed those 3 bad phases in Seasonal Discovery if they had communicated that as well while making it. I can promise you, if they had made a post about Nightmare Incursions before the launch, I would have shit on them so hard that they would have to revert it. I would be like, this is a retail mechanic, go back to retail. I would do everything in my power to make sure Nightmare Incursions never happened. So once again, communication could have fixed the bad parts about SOD as well. And what we are asking for now is once again, communication. I feel like once again, we just have different viewpoints and it's fine.
did we have mistakes? Absolutely. But were there some...
I will say though, no disrespect and no drama, but the way you're talking makes you look so much like a paid Blizzard shill, by the way. I'm just gonna say. It is what it is, right? But you're being very positive, and that's completely fine. But this mentality right here is the ultimate paid Blizzard shill mentality, man. I'm not gonna lie, it just feels that way. And especially after what you just said here as well, because once again, people are asking for communication. And we already had the bad stuff in Season of Discovery. They launched 3 bad phases, and after closing the season, they go dark and say, let us cook, after making 40% of bad decisions. How stupid is that, man?
Bangers? Yes. Hell yes. I loved Sod, and a lot of people did too. All the level up raids were super fun, and Karazhan Crypts and
Yeah, I will say, by the way, I'm being negative, but I'm trying to be so in the spirit of the game and trying to make the game better. And I loved Season of Discovery as well. Never let anybody tell you otherwise. I loved the season. I hated Phase 3, but I loved the season, and I loved what they were trying to do. I just hate the fact that they absolutely never communicate with the player base. They don't want your feedback. I'm just saying that, by the way, like feedback, they don't want it. Because if they make something and you say it's bad, they take it as a personal attack. Because you just basically, what they make is their baby. You call their baby ugly. Nightmare Incursions as well, even after the feedback, they kept trying to force it into you. They were like, here, this is my baby, you will like it, by making it into a daily, just trying to rework it. They should have fucking scrapped it from the get-go. When getting the feedback, they should have taken it out, removed the code, and be like, okay, Nightmare Incursions are now incursed. They're gone, removed. But no, they have to they had to keep being like, you will like this, I will force feed you this Nightmare Incursion. No. And the same thing goes in retail, by the way. Retail as well, a lot of content creators give really good feedback in the beta and the alpha, and Blizzard ignores it, for then to fix it in the 0.2 patch. This happens every expansion, by the way. They ignore the feedback in alpha and beta, and they fix it in a 0.2 patch, usually 1 year after the expansion comes out. Nice.
Scarlet Enclave were awesome. I was watching a Mad Season video, and he tried dunking on Nomergon like, yeah, people really wanted a raid version of Nomergon. That's what they wanted. And I'm like, dude, come on, man. Nomergon was awesome. You're just like a Debbie Downer towards Sod. Like, maybe he didn't like it, but a lot of people did. And yeah, Sod had its faults 100%, but people who didn't like it act like their opinion was fact. But in reality, it was a really fun version of Classic. Class design was also really cool, and I really enjoyed my Prot Warrior and my Prot Paladin, almost more than any other version of WoW I've played. You can definitely make arguments like it got too retail-y with some of the mechanics, the power creep was too high. All those are fair. There's more fair things to say, like talking about incursions. We don't want to talk about that though here. There's plenty of fair criticisms to give it, but to say it was bad, I hard disagree. But
it's not that they don't that they ignore it. It's because the things they're getting feedback on is so far ahead in development that they don't have time to fix it before they have to release it. And do you know how you fix that, by the way? By communicating what you are developing while you are developing it and asking for feedback early, which is exactly what me, myself, and people like Hammerdance and Ebonheart is asking for in Classic Plus as well. The ability to give feedback when it matters. Because we have seen this time and time and time and time again. Blizzard asks for feedback when it's already too late. And we ask them to let us give them feedback while it matters. And they keep being like, oh, let us cook, man. Let us cook. We are the best chefs, and we cook up this cook, and you eat the cook. We are begging to be able to give feedback while it's important. And they refuse us.
with all of this drama, especially with the recent Titanforge server nonsense, it got so out of hand that even Agron had to come out of the woodwork and just say, hey, remember this blue post I posted 3 months ago when Sod was wrapping up? Let's read it again and shut up. Now, he didn't say anything new, but he was like, just please reread this post that goes over how we are making and currently working on our next big project for Classic, and it's going to take some time. He's not going to announce what the game is. Nobody is. They're going to wait until BlizzCon because that's how things just work. They're going to wait for their big convention, like other gaming companies also do, to announce their big project. Yes, I know. It does suck how far away this is. I mean, I'm mad that TBC is 4 months away. How do you think I feel about this next classic thing being like a year and a half away? I do wish it was sooner, like everybody else does too. But
The thing is though, like calming myself down a little bit. I don't care if it's coming out after BlizzCon next year. Take your time, but involve people in the development process. We're not asking for a faster release date though, are we? I think maybe I've said so in a video or two that it should be out by now, because it probably should have been. But in that case, they should have announced it way sooner as well. They should have started working on Classic Plus way sooner, sure, yes. But if they started working on it late, don't release it until BlizzCon. But fucking communicate. This is what we're asking for. Communication. Not a faster release date, communication.
guys, here's the thing. Downtime, and this is the last thing I want to talk about. Downtime is not a bad thing, and it really should be welcomed. There are more things to do besides playing World of Warcraft. We should be going outside, hanging out with our friends, our family, yada, yada, yada. And maybe you do that along with doing this already. I know I need to go outside more. Maybe I'm just projecting. But there's other games to play. There's other things to experience. We are all addicts to this game. My two OG WoW characters would be juniors in college right now.
I know this is a good argument, by the way, but I hate this argument, and I am so tired of listening to it, but I know it's a good argument. But at this point, if Season of Discovery closed down in April, like Phase 8 was April, and they made the post in, like, what, May or something, that they were not going to make any more, like, announcement on Season of Discovery, or any more updates and stuff, at which point the game completely died. Those people have now had 4 to 5 months, soon half a year of downtime. Downtime is okay, but you don't need to have 1.5 years to 2 years of downtime. I like touching grass sometimes, but I don't need to be outside tenting for 2 years to feel the downtime. Yeah, I think it's fine to have 5 months. 5 months of downtime is cool. But the thing is, once again, he's trying to be logical, and that's cool. But the player perception right now, and the way people react, probably shows you that there's been enough downtime when people react the way they do. At that point, maybe there's been enough downtime. Maybe they should communicate. When the player perception is that Blizzard is bad, Blizzard sucks, play Turtle WoW, why play on Blizzard servers, just play Turtle WoW instead, private servers are free and they're better. Like, that's the player perception right now. And another player perception is that Blizzard can't even make a good Classic Plus, why even bother? If the only argument you have to come with against that is quit the game, or like just play something else, that is a bad argument for the game itself. Like, if an argument for a game is to play something else, to me that is a bad argument. Doesn't that make sense? Like, that's a bad argument for the game itself. Play something else. What the fuck? Sure, it's a logically good argument to make. But if you're trying to, like, speak positively about a game, and you say, go play something else, am I the only one who's just like, yeah, this is maybe not a good argument? I feel like, I don't know. It makes logical sense, but once again, player perception and player feelings are important. The way people feel is valuable. You need to listen to their reactions, and not just try to talk logically all the time. Logic is fine, but understanding people's emotions is also it's a nice skill to have, and realizing why they feel the way they feel.
I've been playing this game for 2/3 of my life. Those are both insane facts. But, during this time, try other games. I haven't even touched Night Rain yet, which is crazy considering Elden Ring is like my all-time favorite game. Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door is like game number 3 for me of my all-time favorites. And I still haven't beaten the remaster for the Switch because there's always new WoW content that I want to play and participate in. But I get it, especially if you're a creator. It sucks. This is like the worst time to be a classic
Once again, I've already talked about this, by the way, so anybody who's watching this later, I hard disagree with this, and I've already given my opinions on why I disagree. I think right now is a really good time to be a classic content creator if you focus your content on what's currently happening. And also, a lot of content creators are leaving right now, so there's a lot of holes to fill, like I've already said as well.
WoW creator. And I understand and I feel for y'all. But if we want this game to be good, this next game, whatever it is, then we have to give the devs time to make it. And then one more thing, I'm sorry. All this thing with the private server stuff, and this will be for my next video. Some of y'all are really overhyping these games. And it's insanely hypocritical to be super anti-Blizzard, but then beg them to make a game for you. That's just so weird to me. Like, enjoy the private servers then. Clearly you hate.
But what if... Is that really hypocritical though? Because the reason why a lot of us don't like Blizzard is the fact that they haven't given us a good game to play recently. Or the way they're communicating, and we are asking them to improve on the aspect of which that we dislike. Is that really hypocritical to ask? Like, if I hate you as a person because you go around and kick people in the balls when you meet them, is it then hypocritical for me to go to you and maybe hang out with you a bit, but ask you not to kick people in the balls? Because maybe I like different aspects of you. Like, maybe I like the community in World of Warcraft on Classic, but I don't like Blizzard, and I don't like the direction they're taking. And I therefore ask them to take a different direction, and I ask them for improvements. I basically give them feedback on what I don't like, but even just because you don't like some things, doesn't mean you hate everything. I've never said that I hate everything about Classic WoW. Once again, I enjoyed Season of Discovery, I'm enjoying Anniversary at the moment, but I want something else. I don't buy this one. I don't buy that argument, and I think it's a stupid as shit argument to make. But maybe he means something else, and he's going to clarify that, but I'm just saying, like, to me, this one is weak. This one is super weak, and maybe not super thought through.
This company. Why should they even, I don't know. Anyway, but that's just for my next video where I may or may not have played one of these servers. But that's it for me, you guys. I hope in the 3 weeks that I post my last video that everyone's been okay and great things have happened to you. I know this video might come off as maybe controversial or, rude towards creators. And I don't want that to be the intention because I get it.
Dude, no, it really wasn't. Like, I know he doesn't want to start any drama, and he isn't starting any drama. He is giving his opinion, which is fine. And I am currently reacting to this, giving my opinion on his opinion. And that's also fine. And you can agree with me, or agree with him, or you can voice your own opinion, right? People are allowed to feel different ways. It's once again people's feelings, and you have to understand why they're feeling the way they're feeling.
I want everybody who is a WoW content creator to be successful in your journey. I want you to get to where you want to be as a creator. And I know this really awful time of downtime where we're just treading waters is so unhealthy to your work. I get that. And I'm sorry that it is what it is right now. I do want everybody that I've mentioned in like this video to be incredibly successful and be huge. And I am your supporter and I will like every video you post and cheer you on. But this conversation that we're having is not good for the sake of the game, which is the reason why I'm making this video. But I am rambling, you guys.
I am going to, I once again feel like all I've done this video is disagree with him, by the way. But here as well, I'm going to disagree one more time. The community being verbal and talking is very good for the game. Otherwise, you let Blizzard go ham with their own ideas, and as we have seen time and time again, the only time they are willing to pivot is when there's a massive community reaction to what they are doing, or a massive push from the community as well. Keep talking. Never let your voice be silent or silenced. Keep talking. If you have any burning desires for Classic Plus, make a huge Reddit post. And if you do make a Reddit post ever, like not him here, like him as well, but like anybody listening now as well, if you make any like important Reddit posts about the future of Classic WoW, please send it to me. I will do whatever I can to help you out by upvoting, commenting, maybe even making a video about it as well and sharing. If there's anything super important, absolutely. I feel like I personally feel like the community is a huge reason why Classic WoW is as successful as it currently is. If it wasn't for the community, botting would be even more rampant than it currently is, a bunch of exploiters and fly hackers would still be around, dual spec would never be on anniversary, and a bunch more things. Anniversary also would never have happened, by the way. And also, if it wasn't for the community, hardcore servers would absolutely never have happened. So once again, keep talking and make your voice heard all the time.
Guys, follow me on my socials. Follow me on twitch.tv/JDGD. I only stream my raids. I don't really stream too much anymore, like I mentioned in this video. My main form of content is actually on TikTok right now, where I am making WoW TikToks about the music.
TikTok!
Because if you didn't know, I have a degree in music. I'm a music teacher. And WoW music, especially on TBC and Wrath, is what inspired me to want to pursue a degree in it. So I've been doing that on TikTok, and it's actually been really well received. So if you're here from TikTok, I appreciate
Dual spec on anniversary is good though? Yeah, I never said anything else, did I? I think it's really good. It's just another example of the community making Blizzard do stuff. I think it is good, but it would never ever have happened if it wasn't for the community. If people didn't ask for it, Blizzard never would have put it in the game. That was the example I was trying to give.
The nice words y'all been saying, and I'm going to keep doing that because it's really fun making those videos. But as always, thanks for stopping by and saying hi, and I will see y'all in my next video.
That right there was a good video, by the way, I will say. Very good video, very well, put together, very well formulated. And I did enjoy the video. I'm going to give it a like. And once again, I will probably upload this video likely on the main channel, just because it was a pretty important react, and it ended up being 1 hour and 10 minutes, and the video itself is 23 minutes, by the way. So somehow I managed to ramble for almost triple the length of the OG video, or double the length, I don't know. But yeah, very good video, and even though we disagree on a lot of things, I think that's completely fine. People can disagree and still be respectable to each other, which I think is the main point here. I don't dislike anything he's saying. If I ever sounded like that, that is not the main intent. I just have a different point of view, and I tried to make that be very clear in my reactions, that I just have a different point of view, and I think that's fine. I can feel the way I feel, and he can feel the way he feels, and we can still be correct, kind of.